I want to speak today about the role community leaders are playing in pushing back against some of the more over the top restrictions that we are living under and playing a role in calling for a more balanced approach, or at least the way community leaders should be doing that. I keep reflecting on how some of the most vocal people and perhaps most successful in terms of getting traction for finding a more evolved approach to dealing with the pandemic rather than just these blunt lockdowns are religious leaders. We see a lot of them pushing back, and the most successful, I've talked about this before, is Cardinal Collins, the Archbishop for the Toronto area. He said to the Ontario government, to Doug Ford, these rules you have, they just make no sense. This idea that it should only be, a maximum of 10 people in a religious facility. It should actually be a percentage of what their fire code capacity is. And he called on the faithful, not just of his own congregation, but of all religions in Ontario to speak up, make their voice heard. And guess what? He was successful. He brought about change when so many other organizations, industry associations pushing for changes to rules, they were not able to bring about that change. But Cardinal Collins succeeded. I think there's a number of components to this here, a number of different things going on. But I think the one that interests me right now is the idea of community leaders playing a role in bringing society back online, whether they are faith leaders such as Cardinal Collins, or we have seen people who are, for instance, organizers of community sports, children's sports, who are stepping forward and saying, look, we can get this going, let's make this happen. And they are pushing the envelope to bring sports back online. Because right now we're all kind of sitting at home told, don't leave your house, only leave for, essential this, that, or the other, trying to figure out these different restrictions that we're living under and just, sit at home, get your takeout and watch your Netflix as if government is sort of the only leadership role. Government, and of course, those chief medical officers who are government employees, they're senior public servants, as if they are the only people that we take our cues from. But there's a whole civil society out there of community leaders, whether they are faith leaders or whether they are those great folks out there who do volunteerism and organize all these different community initiatives. I mean, there was a time not too long ago when that was society, that those were the people who were the leaders even more so than politicians in terms of who put society together and who looked at the problems we have in our communities and said, how can we come together as a community, as a society, and tackle those problems? And I think more and more community leaders, whether they're people who organize local sports or whether they're people who, do this or that local association, I think they're starting to think through stuff a whole lot more and going, no, we're full a year into this. The idea that we're going to have a second summer where we're told, no, nothing can happen, that doesn't cut it for them. And I think they're talking amongst each other, and I see there's lots of discussion that they're having online, proposing plans and so forth, going, no, we're the community leaders, and we know we can do, this activity or that activity quite responsibly. We know these things need to get back online, and we're going to talk amongst ourselves. We're going to get community support. We're going to get together an action plan for all of this happening. And that's a good thing. Obviously, we should be listening to chief medical officers in terms of, various other instructions and rules that they're bringing down. But at the same time, it's up to people in the community to make their voices heard and to advocate for responsible and sensible change like Cardinal Collins has been doing. So hats off to all the community leaders out there who have been doing this, who are planning to do this, or who are on the fence about doing it and just need a little nudge to go in the right direction.